But Shannon Dawson, explain to everybody the context of all this and what you want to get done today.
Okay, it's a big thing among the Miami fan base, or do we just basically run a PlayStation dive? In other words, inside zone, in between the A gap, over and over and over again. And it's one thing if it works. If you're turning out 6, 7, 8 yards and some explosives, no one would complain. But now the Miami fans are kind of getting sick of the monotony or the regularity of it. And the fact the offense is stalling. I mean, they were tied 7-7 against Stanford. Not with Andrew Luck, not with John Elway, not with Christian McCaffrey or Toby Gerhardt, not with Jim Harbaugh, but with Frank gonna be retired as coach. So now the media asked our coordinator, hey, can we mix it up or what? Why aren't we running more outside? And Shannon Dawson, who I really like, is a personable, friendly guy, very good with the media. I don't want to say he snapped yesterday, but he was irritated. We want to play that clip.
Take a listen.
How do you want me to get the ball outside with the running back? It's a question. How do you want me to do it?
I'm not the offensive.
You want me to run an option? Okay, I'll run an option with Carson. That's smart. Genius.
Toss sweep.
You can run a toss sweep from underneath. Yeah, we'll go underneth.
How does that impact the defense, though? You know, what you're saying obviously makes total sense, but
Does it?
it does.
Okay.
But you've got a
Just
gap
wondering.
here.
I get asked that question a lot. I don't think it makes total sense, to be
I
honest with
get
you.
asked nothing
Okay.
more than this. But like,
So I'm confused, Steve, about what's going on here. So is he trolling the crowd or the media saying, I know what the fuck I'm doing, shut the hell up? Or is he
Kind of. But, Coach, I have a question. And he made a point earlier. If you're going to be shotgun, there's certain plays you cannot run. You're not running ISO, right? And his view is, hey, look, most teams that run our system out of the shotgun, especially if you run tempo, which we really don't that often, you do give the ball inside a lot. What I think certain Miami fans are saying is, can we run a little bit more in terms of variety, pin pull, a toss, things of that nature, which we did a little bit against Stanford. But I think there is a part of this fan base that is a little bit aggrieved or a little bit agitated by the fact if they're going to jam the box inside, can we at least run something that attacks more of the edges? And I get it. People have to understand there's not a lot of sweep plays anymore. People don't really run the sweep all that much, and we don't do a lot of stuff under center. So, Coach, explain it. Who's right? Who's wrong? And does Coach Dawson have a point here?
Well, here's the issue. Like, can you
And remember, Coach, Shannon Dawson comes from an air raid background. Keep that in mind.
I know damn well that he's not an OC. He's an OC in major college football and knows how to get the ball outside. So I know he's trolling the media and the media base. But if you're in shotgun, let's just say 11 personnel or what have you. We used to run a lot of different things. Let's say that's the other tight end. We're in 12 personnel, and let's just go into this. Miami formation they run, and he's in a pistol. You can motion this guy here and still run ISO out of the gun to the shade side. So here's your motion guy, base, big, A-stat to that, and there's your U right on the wheel, big on the backside, reverse out, hand the ball. There's all kind of shit you can run on and still run inside. Now, if you want to get in the gun, I ran everything. We ran inside veer out the gun, so you can run it all out the gun. Now, if you want to just run outside zone in pistol in the gun.
Well, Coach, here's the thing. We're not running a lot of pistol for some reason this season.
Okay, but if you do want to run outside zone, you can
stretch zone.
Peyton Manning it out of the gun. So there's another way. Now, the other thing I don't see Miami doing, I haven't watched a ton of them like you. We used to call it tape the back, Steve. Move the back during the cadence. Blue 19, motion him quick, and now run outside zone this way. Back this way, away from the motion, or vice versa. But right now, it seems like, because people think, Steve, I think people have a misconception that football is still called dive plays. We don't run dive. And inside zone is more complex than any other inside run play in football. And people don't understand there's rules, covered rules, uncovered principles. There's rules. Do I got a guy head up, on me, or outside of me? That's a zone principle. So he's outside. So guess what? I'm taking an inside step, getting vertical.
And then scooping.
Is the 3 technique on, inside, or outside of me? He's outside of me. So guess what? I got to take an inside step. Now these two are working the combo right there in zone. This guy's getting the whip, and he's the rekey in this particular situation. So now, if I want to run inside zone, where's my where's my track? Where's my landmark for the back? Is it outside leg of the center, or is it inside leg of the guard? That is all philosophy with the OC and the offense. But outside, there's a ton of ways, and I've seen Miami run pin and pull, Steve, quite a bit. So I think he was trolling because I pulled it up last night to answer your question, and they run a lot of this. Mm-hmm. And a lot of pin and pull on the back door, and then they hand it off like outside zone. So they run a lot of pin and pull and get the ball outside so they're back in the gun. So I don't know if he's trolling or not, but
well, he is. And
I love that.
I want to make this clear. When I rewatched the game last night, our center Brockemeyer, he struggled a lot. Stanford actually had a really good zero tech guy, number 42. That guy was strong. He made things difficult inside. The other thing is, I think all I'm asking for is once in a while, not once in a while, when Miami allowed Beck, and they cannot be afraid of Beck, and I understand what happened in the Louisville game. When they threw on first downs, they had a lot of success. And, Coach, we've talked about this. What's the toughest way to play quarterback? Run, oh, my God, it's 3rd and 8, right? You got to be able to throw on early downs. Also, I think more the RPO where you take the ball out and you flip it out to the outside. That play was effective. Ran one with Elijah Lofton, ran one with Malachi Toney. I think if you just have a little bit more variance and throw the ball a little bit more on early downs, I think that would help a lot. Also, and this dynamic, in my opinion, guys, does not exist with Carson Beck. If Miami had a quarterback where at the mesh point, he was a threat to pull the ball, the backside ends could not collapse. It would keep a lot of things more honest. And if you had an athletic quarterback, right, that would greatly aid what is happening. And right now, that element with this current quarterback is not really there. I think a lot of things are fixable within the Miami offense. But, Coach, tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm totally crazy. 10 different coaches can have the exact same 10 plays as their base, right? But how they utilize the plays, the sequencing of plays, and the personnel, they get 10 different results. Am I crazy or am I right or wrong?
Nah, here's the issue. Every time you change the formation, though, it changes the front of the defense, which hurts the offensive line. So I'm not big on a lot of what I'm seeing a lot. If you watch Lane, they'll get into a couple different formations, but they run the same play, but they basically kind of similar in their personnel or their actual.
Right, but Coach, I'm just saying though, if you have the same 10 plays, and let's say your thing, same formation, the sequencing of plays matters.
The order of it when you call
it,
yeah.
I'm not a script guy because like I was
but it's not about a script. I'm just saying you have 10 plays, make this work. You got to use these 10 plays.
Yeah, you're talking about like all week practicing them. You're talking about practicing those 10 particular plays and getting good at them.
Right, but my point is if you're just going to run every time on first down and create 2nd and 9.
Yeah. You're talking about it. You're talking about actual tendency though. Like there's a tendency on Miami right now that we know we're going to see run, let's say 87% of the time if I'm breaking Miami down.
Right.
2nd and short, I'm seeing 97% play pass. Or RPO, let's just say.
Well, here's another thing people are saying. Miami began the game going 4 wide. They went doubles each side. They were moving the ball really well. There's a thought that if you spread it out, not only can you throw the ball a little more comfortably at times, you open up the box. People believe if you have a good enough offensive line against the lighter boxes, you spread it out, you can run the ball. Then at a condensed set, you give a lot of space to the wide receivers. I think it is frustrating certain Miami fans that we keep running the ball inside in these tight, condensed sets. That is one of the critiques of the offense.
Yeah, it's listen, here's the issue. Every football team at some point in the season sees some stagnant offense because it's week 8 now, week 9 now. Now there's more film out there. There's more people. The teams that are getting borrowed film from other people. They're getting end zone copies from friends. Now we're starting to do other things schematically on defense to try to disrupt what you do. So, like, it's going to get harder unless you're just so good. And you got a guy like Lane and Sark who are going to continue to change up schematics, but it's really the same verbiage. So the offensive personnel understands it, but it's different to the defense. That's the difference. There's only a few of those guys, though, unfortunately. And you got to have the QB to do it. You got to have the QB to do it.
The other thing that I don't like, I think Miami plays way too slow of a pace. When you're the better team, you want more plays. You want to lengthen the game. You don't want to shorten it. And there was this particular situation, Coach. You were outside taking care of the shrimp boil. Miami tied the game at 7 late in the first half. Stanford had the ball with about a minute or so. Miami had all 3 timeouts. Now, we're the better team. Now, Stanford does not have a Chris Bell. They don't have an Isaac Brown like with Louisville. So, on first down, in their territory, they had a modest gain. They should have immediately called a timeout. Because I'm thinking Stanford's not going to beat me over the top. And if I use both timeouts and they go 3 and out, I can get the ball back with about 45 seconds to go in decent field position. Miami never took a timeout, and I'm thinking, Mario, you're the better team. Extend the game. That's all I'm saying. But I'm just a crouching tiger watching a game on a
So in summation, Steve, what's your biggest concern, big picture for your Hurricanes as they go into the playoffs, assuming they make it and stuff like that? What's the biggest concern for you?
That this style of play lends itself to games being closer than they should be.
Yeah.
And I believe this is one of the reasons why Mario loses games that he should win. He's had 3 ACC losses in the last 11 or 12 games where he's a double-digit favorite. Now, that's not all because of pace, but I think this thing is fixable. More spread sets, throwing more on early downs, and going with the quicker tempo. Now, before all the straw men come out, that does not mean going Mike Leach full-blown air raid. It does not mean going Art Briles Baylor tempo. All I'm saying is, according to what Coach said, mix up your tendencies once in a while. That's it.
Here's the issue. When you're O-line meathead, which we call O-line guys, we're all meatheads, the O-line guy. When you're a meathead, though, and you are the head coach, that's why I think head coaching O-line guys are the worst of the worst. The problem is you have an O-line coach you hired also and an OC, in this case, Shannon Dawson. There's going to be a philosophical difference somewhere, whether it's how we put down our steps in inside zone, whether it's our split, whether it's what we do on pin and pull, whether are we a solo reach team, meaning on outside zone, inside zone, we're going to solo reach everybody, or are we a ace deuce trade team? There's going to be a philosophical difference in the head coach.
Let me ask you this from a very basic fundamental set. This is all about numbers, right? As a quarterback and a coordinator, hey, Coach, first couple drives, they're literally putting 8.5 to 9 men in the box. Can we start throwing on early downs? Right?
That's true, but the philosophical difference is in the teaching, though. Like Mario's a O-line guy who's a great one, and his philosophy is probably much different than the current O-line guy he hired. It's probably somebody he knows, of course.
No, his line guy is his best friend since high school, Alex Mirabel. They are married.
And Maribel's been around forever. And
he's good.
Shannon Dawson, though, quiet as kept, regardless of what everyone thinks, has a different philosophy than both of them. I guarantee it. Because he's probably more of a spread air raid guy, which I believe his foundation is.
That's his background,
so he's totally different. He rather go now, meaning I'm going to go and wait for so if I'm the right tackle and Smitty's my left guard, or my right guard, but he's inside of me, on his philosophy, because he's air raid, fast tempo guy where he used to be, I'm going to rip and run this, and I'm hoping Smitty comes and takes over my guy.
Right.
Where Mario wants to pick up, put down, and keep his ass there until we secure the double, and then go.
Scoop block.
See, I'm a guy that's like, I'm going to put a hand on him and go. And Mario wants to secure the double. This guy, Shannon, wants to go. Like Chip Kelly. Yeah. He wants to get on the outside and get going and think his help's coming and then let the back earn a scholarship, meaning I'm going to make guys miss. So this philosophy's in here, and I think Shannon Dawson and Mario from the Alabama tree and all those other things has a different type of mindset, and I think that's what happens sometimes. sometimes you just got to get on the same page, and sometimes it could be that little thing that costs you a game.
I hope there's some carryover. Again, no matter what we think of Carson Beck, if you're going to handcuff him, this team has no shot. You're going to have to, get him back going. I thought he looked pretty good in the second to fourth quarter. Throwing on early downs, he looked comfortable. Where he still gets himself into trouble throwing intermediate shots in the middle. That's where he gets a little dangerous. But we shall see. But 7-7 at halftime, I'm thinking, God.
That's crazy. Is it because of Stanford High from winning the week before and beating Florida State, and they were on momentum move, and then Miami had to finally get, okay, let's calm this down. It could have been that too. So, but it was at home, right?
It was at home.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you get so comfortable at home. I don't know.